yeah. You're blocking Jack. Don't be rude.
Mine is an evil laugh.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Liz, and you might remember Jack from the last video. Luna's also over there, so you might see her blocking Jack. So I put off doing this topic until it can no longer be put off, because this is the last video for this Vlogoween series. And the topic is demons.
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy.
I heard it.
So I will be using notes from my book, Paranormal 101, Book for the Haunted. Plug. You buy it on Amazon, I'll leave a link down in the description. But I'll be taking notes from my own book. So first and foremost, what is a demon? It is a non-human entity of what we would categorize as pure evil, as in the absence of love. What does a demon want? Mostly it wants just chaos and destruction. So it feeds off of pain and fear, and all those like lower type of energies. Demons like to feed off of us, off of human energy. So when they siphon off our energy, we can feel lethargic and depressed. Now, it usually goes after the most vulnerable. So that's people who have, people like me who have bipolar. So people who are either in depression or susceptible to depression, people who are in grief, people who are in trauma. It's going to go after people who have a weaker will. So those who are very strong-willed or are very just strong by nature. Basically, demons are like bullies. They're going to go after the most vulnerable, and they're going to avoid those who are most likely to fight back. So there are a couple of stages that we can kind of go through if we have a demon type of attachment. First is oppression. Oppression is when you're going to feel anger, depression. You might feel sick, super lethargic, and just drained. The second and most serious is possession. And that's when the demon has really taken over the human's vessel, their body. So the person has lost basically all control of their physical body and their mind. For example, I had this one time. So I lived in a super haunted apartment as a kid for quite some time. It had, I mentioned in a previous video that there was sort of a grumpy old man spirit, but more dangerous than that was a demonic entity. And this demonic entity really, because I was, as I said, demons go after the most vulnerable, and at the time, I was incredibly vulnerable. I was incredibly bipolar. I was not being medicated. I was resistant to counseling or any kind of help. On top of that, I had, I was I was going into my teenage years, so I had a lot of hormones going on and crazy stuff just anyways. So this thing really kind of zeroed in on me. It made my depression 10 times worse. I had constant suicidal thoughts, and especially as someone who identifies as a medium, it was easy for this thing to get in my head, for me to hear it, and it wasn't my voice. there was this one time where I was seeing a boy that my mom really did not agree with me seeing, and I have no memory of this whatsoever. And so that's something that happens with oppression that's very likely to turn into possession, where you black out, right? This thing takes over your body, it takes over your mind, you're gone. It's just total blackout. And I don't remember the conversation. All I remember is sitting on the couch with my mom watching TV. That's it. But she remembers something very different, and I completely believe her. I completely believe what she says. And she says that we were having a conversation about this boy that she did not like that I was dating, and suddenly my eyes went black, like full black, like no white part in my eyes. It wasn't just like my pupils dilated, like my eyes went pitch black. My voice changed, which is also very common in possession, and I think I jumped on her, and I think I had her by the throat. This is what she's told me anyways. I don't remember it whatsoever. And I basically told her, or the demon rather, told her to back off or else. It may have even threatened her life. It might have even said, back off or I'll kill you. Something to that degree. And then I just sat back on the couch and started watching TV like nothing had happened, because it happened in like a blink. Like it came on very suddenly, and then it was just gone as suddenly. So for me, I had no memory of this whatsoever. I had no idea that this had happened until like way later. Like she didn't confront me about it. She was scared, so she just completely backed off. And that's very common. This thing worked on me for years, because I was there for a while before I moved out. And even then, it followed me. It attached to me and followed me where I went. And I was in a very dark, toxic place as a result for a very long time. Let's look at some common signs of demon infestation. So a putrid scent is one of them. So you might smell like decay, rotting flesh, sulfur, like the scent of rotting eggs, just a disgusting putrid scent. It turns the home's energy heavy and dark, causing arguments and violence. Big yep on that. Animals begin acting aggressively and or become extremely sick or suddenly die. Poltergeist activity, such as moving furniture or throwing objects. Now, I'd like to say, just real quick, that poltergeist activity doesn't necessarily mean demon. It's more like if you're experiencing poltergeist activity along with, but not any one of these things screams demon. It's more like if you have like a cluster of these things, chances are you've got a demon infestation. Causing illness and disease not only to those living in the home, but also those who visit, and especially those who try to help those living in the home. So you might have, there are stories of like, a priest is on their way to come do a cleansing or a blessing or an exorcism, and they get into a horrific car accident. That's the demon trying to stop the help. Causing depression and provoking suicide. A big check mark for me on that one. Physically harming through scratching. So 3 scratches is very common, but it's very likely that you're going to get 3 scratches somewhere at least once on your body, because it is considered a mocking of the Holy Trinity. Mysterious bruising, punching, hair pulling, pushing, and even sexual assault. Causing accidents that result in serious injury or death. So my example of, the priest getting into a serious car accident to stop them from getting help. But it can also, in that regard, can also mean like pushing you down the stairs or something along those lines, like pushing you down but making it seem like maybe you just tripped, right? Reoccurring violent and disturbing nightmares. This happens with this. A common one with this one is the hag that sits on your chest and will, um, you know, it'll either drain your energy or it'll scratch you or something. It'll hurt you in some form. It can give you all kinds of horrific visions and dreams. That's a big, again, check mark for me. It used to show me, people that I loved and people that I cared about and that I loved, you know, dying or something awful like that. Inability to voice prayers or invoke holy names, such as Jesus. Again, a big old check mark for me in that category as well. So there have been many times where I woke up from like, it's called sleep paralysis. So you're waking up but you can't move, and you try to speak and the words won't come. You try to move, you can't. Sleep paralysis, right? Now, in cases where there's a demonic happening or a demonic attack is happening, you're not asleep. So you're fully awake. You might not even be in bed. Like I could just be sitting here talking to you, right? And then get attacked. To try and lift the thing off of me, I might try to invoke a holy name such as Jesus, and I won't be able to. You won't be able to. Sometimes it's difficult to tell the difference between sleep paralysis and a demonic attack. But here are some of the more common signs to be able to tell the difference. Demons don't care what position you're lying in. They can force you down on your back, your side, or your stomach. When being held down, you will usually feel more than just a pressure on your chest. You may feel hands or even claws physically holding you down. You may also feel a burning sensation on parts of your body. If the demon is particularly violent, it may leave bruises and or scratch marks. You may have difficulty breathing, not from the pressure on your chest, but from feeling like your breath is being sucked out. You may also feel like your energy is being zapped. This is a sign of the demon feeding off of you. With sleep paralysis, you may feel like more time has passed than it actually has before the paralysis releases. But with a demon attack, it could take anywhere between a few minutes to several hours. This has happened to me. Check mark. You can't move your own body, but neither can anyone else. Whether you were able to cry out or your partner noticed you weren't moving, they push you to move or pull you up, but you still can't move on your own. Or in some cases, they can't move you at all. No amount of pushing or pulling on their part helps you move a single inch. You may hear growling, smell of sulfur or rotting flesh, see some form of creature and or feel your bed vibrate or even shake. According to medical professionals, these are hallucinations. But if it lasts longer than a minute and is in combination with the above, chances are it's something sinister. Disembodied growling. Dark mass/form with red or black eyes. Now you may or may not see their eye color. This is just something that's common. So like when my mom saw me turn, when I got momentarily possessed, or maybe just a severe oppression, where my eyes went pitch black. But there are many stories out there, people who see red eyes, glowing at them through the darkness, right? For me, I had this one instance where I was fully awake, like I had not fallen asleep. I was fully awake, and there was a black, shadowy mass, pitch black mass up in the corner. It had no form. I didn't see any eyes or anything like that, but there was just this thick, dark mass, like up in a corner. And I was so scared. I was absolutely paralyzed. I could not move. And I was there, it felt like forever. Just all I could do was stare at it. I could not move. I could not speak. My mom was sleeping in the room next to me, and I couldn't call out for her. I was absolutely paralyzed. Again, this is not from sleep paralysis. I wasn't asleep. I had never fallen asleep. I wasn't waking up. I was wide awake, and this thing just hovered in the corner. Eventually, this thing didn't like dissipate or anything, but eventually I was able to move. I wasn't able to, but I just kind of like rolled off the bed. It was kind of like I was close, I was close to the floor. It wasn't like high up, it was close to the floor. And I just like rolled off and like got out of there on like my hands and knees as quickly as I could. I went into the living room and tried to like go to sleep on the couch, but I couldn't sleep at that point. Are you kidding me? But I could feel it, and I kind of feel like, because even to this day, now that I think about it, I have like sort of reoccurring, from time to time, I have reoccurring dreams or nightmares about this thing being in that room. So I think that I don't know that it's still there, but I think that when I was there, when I was living in that place, I think that room was its home base at the time. So there are some tools that you can use to either protect yourself or to try, I was going to say to try and get the demon out, but actually, let me just not. Leave that to professionals. For the love of all that is good and holy, do not try to get rid of a demon by yourself. If you are an amateur to this sort of thing, do not try to get rid of this thing by yourself. It will attack you, it can hurt you, and it can kill you. Do not try to get rid of a demon on your own. Do not provoke a demon. You can tell a spirit or a demon to leave you alone, to leave your space, but do it from a place of strength, calm, and be assertive. Not aggressive, assertive. If you come at a demon in a provoking manner or an aggressive manner, that is actually going to work against you and make it far worse. There is a clip I will be inserting here where Zach Bagans shows how to do this correctly.
You do not have permission to use my body anymore. Do you understand that? I don't want to feel all your hate, all your anger, all your negativity. That's not who I am. So you do not have permission to use me or jump in my body or whatever I was feeling. Do you understand that?
So some tools of protection. Prayer, which seems obvious. Prayer is absolutely a tool of protection. White sage can help in these matters, but it's really, at least in my experience, it has been useless against demonic entities, to be perfectly honest. Others might have a different story, that maybe they've had a lot of success with white sage against demons. That has not been my experience. I choose to use, and I've had success with Palo Santo, which I've also discussed in a previous video, Palo Santo stands for holy wood and is used specifically to help combat and take out, to remove demonic type of entities and negative entities like that. Lavender and cedar sage, so like a combination of lavender and cedar. Lavender plus sage incense is burned to shield against negativity. Cedar sage, on the other hand, can dispel negative entities from a space while protecting the person from harm. I've also mentioned in a previous video about black tourmaline. This stone has protective qualities and is used to shield against negativity. Wear it as jewelry or keep as a stone in your pocket. Salt and tobacco. Both salt and non-chemically treated tobacco have been used for centuries to shield against negative entities. They are often spread across windowsills and door thresholds to keep out negative energy. In my experience, one of the things that demons try to do is segregate the person who is who has the attachment, who is being oppressed. They try to create chaos and arguments and violence. So they try to rip people, families, loved ones, friends apart because it makes the person who has the attachment or the oppression that much more vulnerable. They're going to do everything they can to break you down. And so one of the best ways to help yourself and make yourself stronger is with a support system. So I think we're going to wrap it up at this point. I know this is only day 17 in videos, but this is intended to go up on October 31st, which will be the last of the Vlogoween series for this year. I still intend to continue making videos. I won't be making them every day, but I would like to make them at least once a week. So if you've enjoyed this series and you're interested in what other subjects and topics I'll be talking about in the future, make sure to hit all the buttons, leave a comment, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time. Bye. Happy Halloween!